Yeah.
We're recording, bro. No, we actually are recording now.
Rolling.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hey, it's your boy Lil Trubz, aka Mr. Tracks on Tap, aka I don't rap battles, but no, let's not gas it too high. But
Not gas it too high.
it's
Well, you're
Lil
leaving
Trubz.
out a lot of things on your laundry list of things you are. You know this, right?
Damn. All right, now I kind of want to pass over to you. I'm Lil Trubz, aka Mr. Tracks on Tap. I'm a
You say
part-time
Mr.
rapper,
Tracks on Tap,
full-time
like
plug.
you're not the founder of Tracks on Tap.
Yeah.
It's not just a Mr. You're not just the face of it. You're like the founder of it.
Indeed.
You're
yeah.
also like, what is it? Your bio says you're a part-time plug at 8 Bars.
Yeah.
You also,
Shout out 8 Bars.
obviously, a rapper.
Yeah, part-time. I feel
You can
like
never
I'm not
part-time rap.
See, like I was saying this to Rec the other day. I was like, man who like play football on a Sunday, but they don't play for a team. You know, like
Sunday
I'll still
league.
kick ball. Yeah. I'm a Sunday league rapper, but that's where the
Sunday
boots
league
are. You know,
rapper.
like man in the Prem,
that's-
man in the Prem can't last a month in the Sunday league.
That's facts. They'll fall over every second. That's what you need to make is a Sunday league for rappers. Just come
You might
out.
have to still.
God damn. This is just supposed to be the intro. What do you do, man?
Yeah. I feel like this is a good intro.
Let's be honest. You're a rapper.
Yes.
Founder of TOT, obviously
Yes.
Tracks on Tap to the universe. Fair enough.
Tracks on Tap.
Obviously 8 Bars up, you're working there too.
Yes.
Bare opportunities given.
Yes,
At this
as
point, you
much
might as well
as-
be an
as we
event
can.
planner as well.
Yeah, definitely events producer, they call it. Maybe events manager.
Okay.
But yeah. Definitely,
Now he's gassing himself.
definitely in the event game. Yeah, no, do you know what it is? It's like a lot of stuff I do just because I love to do it. And it's like, I don't know, I'm more looking at opportunity or almost what I would like to do. So I'm not really thinking about, I want to get that title or I want to do that and then, you know, like have that
That's
status. It's more like,
interesting. Because
yeah.
this is going to be the second episode of this podcast, right? The first one obviously is with Reg.
Yes.
Reckless demeanor, shout out, etc. I'm wearing the same jumper. You can tell us what I'm saying there. But with that, it's like you are perpetually surrounded by rappers.
Yeah.
Your whole, obviously, your jobs, everything you put yourself into.
Yeah.
There is not a moment that you're not surrounded by like a menagerie of talented rappers. You've also got like talented team people around you as well.
Therefore, yeah.
And then you've got networking, etc., etc. It's interesting because my question is, my statement is, let's go back to where this all started.
Yeah.
Because you were a rapper first. Although technically, you're someone who enjoyed football a lot first.
Yeah.
You wanted to focus on football, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to work out where you got that from. Maybe the P1 will know. freestyle.
I'm out here like I'm not worried. Shit, just
Yeah,
like, we
yeah.
have to know.
Yo.
Well, obviously, you were into football, and then obviously,
Yeah,
you
heavy,
unfortunately...
Yeah, but appendix burst and bowels. I still could have got back in. That didn't absolutely write me off. I feel like someone who still wants to pursue football, who might have gone through that,
Could
it's like
absolutely do it.
you can still do it.
What you found was music.
I was almost on the pivot of like starting to get into music as that kind of happened. And I remember, I don't know if like my dad would say that almost would have tied into why I maybe was becoming a bit lazier with football or like just being a bit more drained because my body was obviously in a way before it happened. But I don't know.
Do you think that's
I
the
don't
same
know
sort of
the
attitude
science
that was
behind
put
it.
on you for like uni and stuff?
Yeah. Football
Duh.
and uni, me and my dad, 100%, 100%. That's like I love that story, and throughout the story, like living it and being in the midst of it, it was like tough or like not ideal, but where it's ended up, like coming out of the other side of the tunnel, it's like we're better than we were. Like it was
Absolutely.
growth that needed to happen. So it's like while going through it, it was like a bit mad.
Honestly, it's a
And-
heavy question, but the first
Yeah.
question is, do you feel like where you are is the right place for you to be?
Yeah, 100%. Even like, bro, I would have wished to be here in like a year ago or 2 years ago. Like, even in my head right now, the first image that comes in my head is like, bro, I would have like, never could I not imagine myself being here because
Right.
like, always been hungry and like on this, I know where I come from and the expectations, or everyone has different expectations.
Honestly, that's part of my question to you is that
Yeah.
like, how does, obviously you said that you were kind of messing with music when you were doing football as well.
Yeah. Started to get into
Well,
it.
my question is like, how do you welcome yourself into rap? What makes someone go, all right, cool, I'm gonna start spitting?
Yeah.
Like, because there's some people who just kick ball.
Yep.
And they are happy just kicking ball.
Yep.
And there are some people who do multiple things. And obviously, before what happened, it seems like you were happy to go in both directions.
Yeah.
Where did you find that rapping was something that you were equally good at to football, if not better at this point.
Yeah. So at that point, like when the transition happened, I was way better at football than rapping. Like, miles. I weren't like terrible at rapping, but I weren't a good rapper. Like I was like rapping.
I mean, to be fair though, you can't really be like they don't have primary school classes on like rapping. Do you get me? You still like, playing kicking ball at PE and shit, but you can't be like, hey, yo, let me spit a 16.
Exactly. It was like there was no. But my friend rapped, and it's kind of a nut story. Like basically, Aston Marigold from JLS. Already as the back, bro. He done a backflip in front of me, fam, in the classroom. Like I was like, yo, like basically random. Like I never done music these times in my life. Didn't do music these times, but my friend done music. He rapped.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, Aston came into our school, to the music department. I went to Elm Green and West Norwood, normal school, no like mad school. Like, why is this guy coming in?
It's
like,
not a Brit school and shit. Yeah.
He just, I don't know, man. He just came, pulled up. They didn't tell us he was coming, but they just took like 10 to 12 of us, 10 to 15 of us out of class and was like, you're going to be in the music department for the day. We couldn't even go down to get lunch in case we told other people that he's upstairs and start swarming.
Okay, they're doing a bit much for it.
But he was big them times, so fair enough. But
it's a little bit weird though to be like.
It was for us. It was like,
why are you here? Why are you backflipping? Yeah, absolutely.
What the fuck is going on, bro? Like, what do you mean? And then went up there, and basically there was loads of like non-musical people in there, myself included.
Oh,
like,
right.
It weren't like targeted at music. It was just, I don't know, experience. And my friend rapped. So I just rapped because we all had to do something. So I was like, cool, I wrote an 8-bar.
Wait, for Aston Marigold?
He came in to work with us on a song. We were just making a song through the day, basically.
Okay,
and everyone had to contribute to this song. And that's what it was. And then, so yeah, I almost had to do something. And I was like, let me spit. So how I came, maybe I was never meant to be a rapper. Like, it almost like... Because it's like, what kind of intro to... Obviously, like, I had written bars in, like, year 6. And this was, the Aston Marigold thing was in, like, year 8, year 9. So, like, that was, like, later. But the year 6 thing was just, like, I don't know, we grow up around it, you know, like, rap and listening to it and that. So it was that.
I'll be real with you. You say that. I don't know if it's, like, a London thing. Mm-hmm. Like, when I was in school, I went to a school in Leicester when I was in primary school. Mm-hmm. But I'm originally from Birmingham, but I went to a school in Leicester. And we were in, like, year 5. Obviously, rap's been huge for like decades, like since the 80s, 90s. And then for some reason, young people always identify with it. Yeah. And at the time, no one. I used to watch Nick Cannon's Wild and Out on like MTV Base. I was trying to be that guy. I was trying to be freestyling in school. No one was trying to do that. But at some point, they were like, oh yeah. In my school, it was less like, oh, everyone wrote bars. It was kind of just for fun. It was more just. They just fucking did the verses to songs. Okay. They would do Nasty Girl by Notorious B.I.G. and everyone would be like, someone's Nelly, someone's Diddy.
Yeah, we used to do that.
Exactly, I was like, hey, like, guys, I can't do Nelly. I ain't got a southern twang. I can't. I'm from Birmingham, for fuck's sake. God damn. But like, yeah, no one was trying to write bars out like that. Yeah. But then like, so year 8, you have a JLS member come in.
Random.
Anyone who doesn't know what JLS is, not a fucking rap group. It's the most poppy thing you could think of, bro. Yeah. You got a man who backflips and sings and looks like a 18-year-old coming to you saying, hey, do something. Yeah. And so you and your friends are rapping.
My friend was already rapping. He's, shout out Taze, he is the reason I'm where I am today. Like on a thing of like, I just wouldn't have started rapping if it weren't for him. And I wouldn't have done the other stuff if I didn't start rapping. So just like root and kind of cause and effect.
Absolutely, the dominoes and shit all start to fall.
Literally.
And so you wrote 8 bars for Aston Marigold.
I guess, basically. He was
and then just from there, did you just like enjoy it so much? Or?
I started writing a little bit more, but I definitely didn't identify as a rapper. Okay. I was just writing because I was like kind of into it. My friend was doing it, and then it's like kind of a thing of like, just doing it, and then in school you get feedback or you spit bars to someone, it's like, yeah, that's hard, or blah, blah, blah. And then
that's sick.
A few of my close friends were giving like decent feedback, and like now I can kind of see that it weren't that good, but it weren't rubbish. Like it was like maybe you could rap, you know, like.
To be fair, your friends are always gonna gas it a little bit, but you're saying that you identified that you did have ability.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. When I think about it now, I'm like, nah. But obviously it led to something. Like,
who in year 8 is writing? You get me?
Yeah. It's like you don't even know
13 go like, hey, yo. Actually, no, I take that back. Nowadays, I do see there are quite young talents.
But they are still rare cases, defo. But yeah, and I just started writing a bit more, getting decent feedback, and then started writing it. And then it was like the DHD Vision freestyle was like, that was like the beginning of
how did that come about?
Everything.
How did you, like, what's the process for you? Obviously, listen, I'm just a dude. I don't know how to fucking get on YouTube channels and do freestyles. That's not my thing. But like, how does that come about? Do you get me? At what point were you like, was this something that you approached them for? Was it something that just happened or?
Yeah, so back then, this is a time when hardly anyone rapped. Like when I put a video out on Facebook, every school in the area near to my school is watching it because no one does this. No one else in the school was rapping.
Which is nuts for London.
Yeah, not like in my school. Couple people are rapping in other schools. But then it's like, no, we don't drop music every day. So man, I drop in month by month by month. I would still see all the guys from the other school who are rapping because there weren't a lot of them. And it's like, that's why even like, no, not gonna name drop anyone, but like people who are like kind of up now, who came from that same time period, we all kind of know of each other because it was like it wasn't as diluted as it is now. So everyone was kind of aware of each other. We didn't all know each other, but we definitely saw each other because we're on the same channels or seeing different channels that are popping and watching it. And it was that whole thing then. But the DHD Vision freestyle came about from a friend who literally lived 1 block from me, like on my estate. He was filming for a studio in Brixton called Star Labs, who were running the channel, DHD Vision. They were just shooting freestyles for just different artists in the area in Brixton, like around. And then he knew I like rapped a bit, but I wasn't a rapper at these times, or didn't kind of identify as one, I guess.
Right.
Because I guess...
I mean, that's a bit mad. You got a freestyle on a YouTube thing and you're like not seeing yourself as a rapper.
Just before I met... So I mean, before I got the call, I didn't count it as it.
Okay.
And even when I got it, I was still like booked out, but it's like the first vid I'd done was on like, I can't remember if it was 2 weeks or 2 months. I swear down, I don't know the time difference. But it was on like, I'm going to say 2 months because I feel like 2 weeks is a stretch, but I remember it. The freestyle hit like over 10K and then touched 15K. And that was my first ever freestyle. And it's like, I couldn't hit 15K now if I just dropped a freestyle. It would be tough to, maybe I could, but it would be tough.
That's more a commentary on like the sort of market now 100%. Of rapping.
Sneak Bro Touch a Button, them times was between like 100 and 250K. Like no one was in millions, except for maybe Tiny Tempo was on his way or Tinchy Stride.
You were on virality if you were like actual virality. Nowadays everyone's like saying they want to be viral, but back then, if you were hitting over 100K, God damn.
God, Sneak Bro Touch a Button, Gigs Talking the Hardest weren't on millions back then. They was on still within the thousands.
But that was an interesting thing then. I mean, that's more to like, you know, YouTube culture and social media culture. Like, Talking the Hardest was not on millions, but it was in every fucking school, bro. Every person was saying it.
The power of Bluetooth back then was... unreal.
I hate to say, we've never been closer than when we put our phones next to each other for Bluetooth.
Facts. The old school, and then when you got the bang, you know, like certain man just got all the tunes, like they lit somewhere where they're like, bro, back then, if that was nowadays, you know, like resellers are in that, bro, they'll be selling man Bluetooth.
Absolutely.
What, you want me to Bluetooth you that? Drop me a 10, I'll send you Talking the Hardest.
Back then it was everything was free. It had the weirdest fucking titles on there because it would have like brand and websites. Yeah. Lowercase, uppercase, everywhere.
Shout out LimeWire, shout out T Diddy.
Nah, don't shout out LimeWire. You know what?
Lighter would like they give you a virus.
I'm gonna be real with you. This has got nothing to do with you, and I know this is your episode, but like when I was younger, listen, we were broke as a family. So like my first PC wasn't until like way later, and it was a shit PC. I'm talking like beige ass PC. It looks like it's from a dystopia, right? But like obviously I get the LimeWire because everyone's like, you can get songs from there, and like you can get movies from there, and I wanted to watch Bad Boys 2 in it. So like, I signed in Bad Boys 2. And it's Bad Boys 2 is like 2003. I was like 8. I signed in Bad Boys 2. I downloaded it, and obviously it takes fucking ages to download, doesn't it? So I go to school, I come back, I come back, and my mom's like, do you want to tell me something? And I'm like, huh? And she's like, why? Did you download something on the computer? I was like, yeah, the movie Bad Boys 2, Will Smith in it, it's good. And my mom goes, I'm gonna delete it. And I was like, why? I was pissed off. And then she left the room, and I quickly just went to check why. I wanted to watch the movie so bad. Bro, I downloaded Gay Port by accident.
I thought you were was just gonna be some kind of standard
No,
put, man.
it was-
Yeah, what? Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
it was like I was watching this. I was just like, the intro was like the most Comic Sans on black text you've ever seen, and it was just like Bad Boys 2 in like the worst writing, and I was like, I feel I didn't have more money for this.
Meaning to Bad Boys.
I was not seeing Will Smith or nothing, and then all of a sudden, like, just a man was about to strip, and I was like, nope, close the fucking day.
Yeah. This is not my intention.
So yeah, fuck LimeWire.
Okay, I can't lie. My brother's 6 years older than me, so I went on the tech on LimeWire, but I received the gifts of LimeWire if that happened to my big brother, maybe I don't know about it. Maybe he got it from my mum, and I just went in the convo. I was 6 years younger, and they're not even gonna tell me that happened. I'm gonna, I might have to.
But no, back days, Bluetooth, everything's sending. Obviously, like you're saying, the community is a lot different now.
Yes.
So many rappers about. You having that freestyle, obviously, and then. Is that when you identified yourself as a rapper, when you decided that like 15K, now people are watching me?
I guess I honestly can't like remember when I would have, because it was later when I started thinking about identifying and do you have to make money to be a rapper? Or if you do it every day but you don't make money, are you a rapper? No, I think whenever you want, well, as long as you're outside doing it, I feel like I remember being young on a trip, and there was like a couple people who like lived in the same area as like Krept and Conan, and knew them, and they're kind of like to me, yo, like spit some bars, and I didn't want to spit because I was nervous, or like I'm like, I don't want these men to judge me or get onto me, or bar,
you're shit, you're gonna get erased.
These men are. It's like. Bro, I grew up listening to Krept and Conan,
Absolutely,
so if you man know their music and I'm going to spit to you, it's like, I'm not going to compare to them right now, but yeah, and I remember not doing it, and then I was like, bruv, you can't be a bedroom rapper, like you gotta spit, like how you gonna progress? And
so this is my question to you, because like you've been around, I don't want to say for time, because it's not like you've been, I mean, you're still young, bro.
But a solid, a good decade.
I mean, I don't mean to say it like this, but like TikTok obviously has brought a new wave of like people who can rap. Same with social media in general, right?
Yeah.
But then also like, as much as lockdown affected people, a lot of people found their like passion in lockdown, and so a lot of people, rappers, singers, whatever.
Yep.
But obviously, you're from a time before that.
Yep.
And you recognize that like there wasn't so much of a market. Obviously, social media was shit back then as well. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. It's like, Wild West.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Fuck Facebook. But like, it was absolutely. It was trash then. And it was trash now. But back then, it was the only thing we had. So we were like, fuck it. But like in that time, because now everyone, I don't want to say everyone, but like a lot of people in lockdown, they are just bedroom rappers. They're bedroom singers. And there's nothing wrong with it necessarily, because they're making like fire. You gotta
start from somewhere.
And they can make fire. But the thing is, I feel like the environment back then, before lockdown, before the huge bit of social media, was like, if you're just in your bedroom, you're not really doing it.
Yeah.
And I think now that perspective has changed.
Yeah.
But from someone who was around before that was the idea, do you still think that like, if you're in your bedroom, you're not necessarily doing everything you can?
If the music doesn't come out of your bedroom.
Yeah.
Yes. But that don't mean like I guess you don't necessarily have to be outside, but that causes problems later down the line, I think. So like, for example, if you're in your bedroom, but you're jumping on bare people's lives and you're sending your music out and you're pushing to rate, like you could do a lot from your bedroom if you pattern and push.
I mean, a rapper I would shout out, Mr. NJE,
my brother, I fucking love that guy.
Absolutely, like, is that. Is someone who would like start freestyling, obviously chilling in his house, obviously jumps on lives. Yeah, he's been on tracks on top.
He went crazy in lockdown. He did come out. He's come and performed and put a couple of vids out and that. But he definitely started. Yeah, 100%.
And then I think that validation sometimes give people the recognition that they can move this into something serious.
It's like it starts from here. You start from somewhere. It's in your bedroom, and then people are like, "Yo, you need to bring this out of your bedroom." Like, and that's the whole thing. It's like even with NJ, it's like he's gonna have to start pushing out at some point to do it. Like, so I feel like
actually, if you're listening to this, make a project, bro.
Please. I feel like NJ might listen to this. Shout out NJ if he's listening.
I'll send it to him directly. I'll get him on here. I don't care. Yeah. But yes, make a project. But like I'm saying, you were from before that necessarily. Social media
100%. I do identify with being before that as well. Like I feel like that's a big part of more so the plug side of things than the rap side of things.
But my question would be like, a lot of people get their validation like from the new era, from that social media aspect, because you get people liking your shit, commenting your shit. They're saying, "Hey, listen, you are good."
I'm even kind of guilty for that. Like, I'm certain things are like, I don't know, I might put something up that I'm not over feeling. Then when it gets to feedback, I'm like, now I should be feeling this.
Right.
But then I question the feedback. I'm like,
but see, this is my point. Is because like when you had those freestyles, like when you did that freestyle and it got released, is that what helped you carry on?
No, I got rinsed when I was young. Yeah, yeah. That's why these days I'll put out anything and I don't give a shit what anyone says. Because the worst is behind you. Bro, it was bad. Like, it's jokes now, but back then it took time to like kind of get used to that. And even like, bro, I'd have mad vids, like, man, probably people you know who are just kind of hating it. But you know, like, man saying stuff where it's like, you know who I am kind of thing. I remember seeing a mad comment, like something about almost my school and pull up on you. But I remember finishing school that day and coming out of school and standing outside my school,
getting ready,
waiting like as in, all right, someone's coming for me, and no one come, obviously.
You know what's hilarious?
It's fucking.
That might be like one of the earlier like recognitions of like, bro, it's basically Twitter fingers. Like you were literally just keyboard worrying this shit.
100%. I remember I'm looking and now I'm suspecting anyone walking on the road looking half sus, and I remember obviously nothing happened, and then that kind of taught me. I'm like, it's all fake accounts. And that's why nowadays, if I see a fake account and I just block you, because it's like, I'm kind of too old to deal with that. And it's like, it's just this whole thing of, if you say it from your account, I'll add you to the live and it's like, let's chat. Like, come on the live and say whatever you wish to say. Obviously nowadays it's
how
never
often have you had that, actually?
One time we had it with some Americans on I let them on the live because they was half on collabing, but half on like, trying to push their thing. Like, oh, okay. And then, me and NJ was actually on the live.
Yeah.
Like, and then they were just waffling bare, and then shout out to the Americans who are super blessed, but these are bro. Like, they were chatting fair, you know, like just non-stop, and then I had to kick them off the live because it weren't a convo, it was just them talking at us. And I'm like, I'll add you to the live, I'll chat to you, man, but if we ain't having a two-way conversation, then get off the live. And it was that. And we were talking about basically doing a battle kind of thing, like 5 UK artists, 5 American artists. And I was like, let's go. Like, and then we started.
Also, I mean, no offense to Americans, they don't want that smoke.
They don't understand. No,
like,
no.
I love a lot of American rappers. A lot of my favorite rappers are American.
The OGs are the OGs. Absolutely. Absolutely. But listen,
I'm not even a rapper, but like half of you American rappers, the only thing you have is either you have a gun or that we're British and that's funny. And that's it. That's literally it. This is one thing I love about British rap, right? Whether it's grime, whether you see yourself as a rapper who raps in grime or just rap, or even if you're doing like, by the way, there's like a renaissance of like new garage that's coming up. Yeah. All of you dons, the amount of not only wordplay, not only like the multis, also the flow. Americans don't want to smoke.
Yeah, and you know what it is? I feel like, obviously, we would have got that from America and developed it here, but that's what I'm saying. The OGs were
The OGs are the OGs. I would never, you know, never like, disrespect them.
But I feel like the young Gs may have got lazy because the OGs were so goated. It's like, maybe they thought that this is what the OGs done. They just rolled and it just happened. And it's like, nah, they crafted a whole
This is a question I have for you.
Like,
because like, and I don't want to necessarily plaster all Americans with a brush because there are some young American rappers that are great.
Of course.
But it's more the case of like, because they have that steeped history of rap, I feel like a lot of younger Americans who are trying to rap feel like they're owed that ability. Yeah. Like they think they automatically have it just because of that history, right?
And I think they might think the OGs might have thought that too. It's like, it's normal. Without the graft of like, they
put it in the work because they don't know it. They don't know the work.
Yeah.
My question here is on a British scale, because we have a similar thing, but it's not as big, which is, obviously, we've got British greats, but they span across, like, the variety is nuts.
Yep.
Like, one of my favorite things that ever happened when I was younger was I had a school teacher tell me that I would never amount to anything but working at McDonald's, and I was in year 5.
Wow.
And no. First of all, I love this because I applied to McDonald's when I was in college and I got rejected because I was drunk and I wrote that I was Batman. And they were like, yeah, we're not accepting you. So on a McDonald's application, you fill it out and there's a bit where it's like, why do you want to work at McDonald's?
Bro. Oh my! Jobs in general, yeah.
Yeah, I
unless
fucking
it's
hate
a
it.
job that is like a passion. What do you mean? Why do you want the job?
If it's an industry where it's like you need to show passion for it, I get it. But if you're like asking me why I want to work at Asda, I need money.
Bro.
What do you mean? I need cash. I need to pay rent. But like Mackie's was asking me like, why do you want to work at McDonald's? And I was just like, my parents were killed in an alley. I protect the streets at night. I'm Batman. And I sent out. I loved getting that rejection letter, bro. It was so good because I forgot about it as well. So I reread it.
Said, I have to send this application, but I don't want nothing from it.
Literally.
So, here it is.
Fucking hate it. Yeah. But yeah, no, when I was younger, some teachers told me that like I would never do anything but work at McDonald's. And like
that teacher.
My mom, who is like one of the greatest people in the world, obviously, we all love her, like family and stuff, so usually.
Shout out Mumsy.
My mom was heavily steeped into, obviously I'm an Asian dude, but like my mom kind of like Bollywood, but she was more heavily steeped into reggae.
Okay.
But we had someone live with us for a little bit who would just love the rap at the time. And this is like mid-90s rap. So this is like, I'm talking like, I got shown like, I'm talking Nas, Biggie, Tupac, like OGs on OGs, Dre's. And then like I was listening to all of this and it was great. And I used to try and listen to it at school because I used to have a fucking shitty Walkman.
Yeah, come on, shout out to
it was a CD Walkman. Let me live. But like,
come on.
I had this like giant CD Walkman. I used to go in. By the way, I thought I was sick. I was not sick. I'm a pacifist. I used to get bullied. I walked in one day with Nike TNs and the fucking Walkman. I thought I was the freshest motherfucker alive, bro.
Come on.
But I was listening to rap. Obviously, you burn your CDs back then, innit?
Yeah.
So it was just empty CD-ROMs with like your tracks on there and you just like play them. And my teacher like confiscated it off me because she was like, you're not supposed to bring it in school. And that's like fair.
Was you playing it in school or before?
No, I listened to it on my walk to school. And then I would like put it away. But like I left it around my neck and shit. So she was like, oh yeah, we need to take it.
Why
no, I wasn't mad at it.
Fair enough.
But like she started listening to my fucking music. She was like, yeah, let's see what you're so interested in, shall we, Ricky? She fucking listens to it. And she's like, so later on when she's giving me this lecture about fucking McDonald's, she's like, you don't want to become one of those rappers, you know? And I was like, excuse me, madam.
I already know what she looks like. You know, like I know what she looks like. But yeah. Fuck her. But yeah, go on.
I really wish her first name was Karen. It wasn't. But no, it gets to that level where like I think a lot of, especially just because, and I hate to see this because it's easy to upload. It's hard to get noticed now. Before, it was like hard to fucking upload because of internet bandwidth. Yeah.
But it probably easier to get noticed in comparison to now. Yeah.
But now you're literally like a fish in the sea. It's difficult. Yeah. But I think with like a lot of both British and American rappers on the new generation stuff, they might forget the workload. And I don't see it often here, which is what I love because shout out everyone who's actually grinding on this shit. Yes. But when it comes to that, do you feel, because you're from a time before that, you're not here on the social media ish. You're from like when you started off, obviously everyone starts off shit, but you had to advertise. You had to be that guy and then improve on cam.
Yep, 100%.
How do you take that when you're looking at new talent? Because now you're so much more than just a rapper.
Yep.
So when you're looking at like the people that surround you, obviously you got bare talent around you.
Yep.
But when you look at certain people and you think like how you're going to approach that, because I assume, do you give feedback to artists a lot?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people send me stuff like privately, so especially friends who I speak to frequently will be like, yo, just recorded this, can I send it to you and feedback? And I'll let you continue.
No, that's what I mean. Question. Like when you're approaching that feedback, is it a sense of like, do you feel obligated to be like, not brutally honest, but just like real? Because like a lot of people are going to listen to something and be like, oh, this sounds similar to something I've heard. Yeah, you must be good. Or do you go like, this is how I've listened to it. Your lyrics are like this, the flow's like this, the concept is it. What's your approach really?
So, all right, I'll start with feedback on its own. I looked at the time as well, and I'm gassed how much time we have left because I'm bare enjoying this. And
I was like, I promise you, I was not looking for the camera. I was not looking at the time. My phone locked, and I got like certain things I want to mention. That's all it is.
Okay, I did look at the time about 130 seconds ago, and I was gassed to see.
That's so specific.
I'm a bit of a maths geek. That's like probably unfound on the internet, but I done like I done A-level maths. First year I slapped. Second year I fell off, and that's why I'm doing music and not uni. But that was a choice. That was like a choice, if you get me. But I absolutely love
I don't know
maths.
how you do numbers, bro. I'm fucking terrible with numbers.
I love that shit. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, feedback.
Yeah.
So when I'm giving feedback, my first thing is like, I think there's people who want constructive and they want the raw. Like, we know me and Rek have both been here today, but Righteous Demeanor, I know he wants the raw.
As well.
Yeah. But like, there's people who, a lot of the people around me are so good that it's like, it's almost hard to tell them anything bad, because it's like you are all rapping at a level where even stuff that's lower end of your catalogue is still a high end. Like, it's high-end quality in general. Yeah, it's still above average. So it's like, really and truly, most people are not going to say anything to you. So I feel like I try to almost go out my way to try and give these men feedback, because I'm like, how can I be helpful? You sending me something, me saying, yo, that's sick, isn't helpful. Like, that's not, it's nice, but it's like, what does that do for you? It's just like validation, if you get me.
Right.
Rather than like, how can this help?
Something they can build upon.
Yeah, so my whole thing is like, I feel like I always take long to listen to stuff and give feedback. And even to my people who, I would speak to them 3 days in a row, they would have sent me something on the first day and I wouldn't have replied in 3 days. But I'm like, I will get back to you. And when I do, I normally listen and reply as I'm listening. So like, I'll write out a note while I'm listening. And so like, for example, Sense, SENXE, his EP, that he dropped recently, I was listening to that, and as I was listening, I'm like writing the feedback to send to him as I'm listening, because I feel like it's like a lot to take in, if you get me. And if I send it the next day, it's like trying to remember each of those 5 tracks individually and each part, and that is hard. So yeah, that's my whole thing. I love to give feedback when I'm in a space where I can just chill and focus and write on the feedback.
Do you think, because like every rapper's different usually, I mean, It's a hard thing to say, because like a lot of people will look at a lot of rappers and be like, everyone's got the same style nowadays. Yeah. But if we're being completely honest, everyone's an individual. Everyone's going to be approaching it in a certain way.
Definitely.
But do you think there is maybe a common factor right now in rap that you think maybe isn't as good as it could be?
Yes. I think vulnerability. I want to hit...
Bro!
Yeah, like, you know...
Yes. Like, no. First of all, yes.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So I do a lot of youth work, and when I'm working with the youngers, a lot of them in the first verse, probably in both verses, but especially in the first verse.
Wait, hold on, wait. I don't want to skip over this because we will continue. But I just have to now add that to the list.
Yeah. Okay.
TSC found the A-Bars app, giving people opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. I learned a lot of how to be the plug from youth working, 100%. I worked for a music charity called School Ground Sounds, the guy who founded it, Tom Scott, shout him out. He was a maths teacher in my school. You and the numbers, bro. I was on my way to going to uni to do secondary, like mathematics with secondary education and QTS. Like I was on this. Like that was I'm going to sixth form every morning. I wake up, I leave the house, I put my headphones on and play Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come, and I'm like, I'm about to make it, bro. I'm in a suit going to sixth form, like what? Like I'm in the maths class till 7 p.m. Like if you want to find me in the maths class, I'm working. And it's like, it sounds nuts, but that's where I learned, this whole thing of like, bro, I was predicted a D at A-level maths first year because I got a B at GCSE. They was like, when I said I want to pick maths, they said I had to have a meeting with the maths department of them telling me you're predicted a D because you got a B at GCSE, so you shouldn't do maths, basically. Like you're set to fail. Okay. But it's also understandable because like in GCSE I didn't overbang like homework and that. I was good in class. I kind of feel like I was like naturally gifted, but I wasn't too bothered about education, and my parents would have been happy with me if I passed everything, my parents would be blessed. It's like, all right, cool, you've got your qualifications and you can apply for a job, basically. And then they was like, you're basically gonna fail. And I was like, I'm not. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I want to do this. Like, and then in my first year of maths, I got ABB. And I was
That's
like,
nuts.
I
That's
was
so
gassed,
sick,
bro.
bro. That's sick.
Like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Like,
Did you laugh in their face?
no, do you know what? They helped me a lot. They helped me a lot to get that ABB, and so I'm grateful for them. And I feel like them telling me not to do it was out of their best interest and my best interest. It's like, do something else that you've got a better grade in.
Right. But if anything, it shows like your determination. Do you get me?
That's why I brought it up, because it taught me that it's like, bro, work hard on anything and you can do anything.
Right.
Like, other people can do it. Why can't I? And if I can do it, why can't other people? Exactly that. So the youth work thing, why I brought that up is because everyone comes, like, the vulnerability thing. Yeah. So everyone is on this over crud, and it's like,
of course,
they want to be seen in like a light, like I'm the man. Yeah, everyone wants to be the man.
99 and shout out to Reckless, made a whole song called The Man. Just is what it is. Maybe be vulnerable, bro. I'm just saying.
Nah. Maybe, but like, maybe that's the switch. Maybe that's what we're gonna get from righteous to
righteousness. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But like, but 99 out of 100. If you listen to a lot of rappers, and maybe because it's the way the like battlefield of rap presents itself.
100%.
Is like you have to prove your
100%.
You have to show almost that you're invincible.
It's almost like, as well, like, rap is male dominated. It's like we're trying to push the females, and we definitely, even when I'm looking for events, bro, I have 100 men shout me and then a couple females shout me, and I'm like, how can we get this to three females, 3 males when we do the event and push like that? And it's, yeah, man, it's like, I feel like there's definitely been progression within like kind of men's mental health and just even in the music industry. Like a couple years ago, everyone was on drugs, and like they're almost like that was running, and it's like, you die, we make more money off you, which is nuts and like a sad reality. But there's a big disconnect between people coming up and people running the industry.
Absolutely.
And there's not much care in between.
No, I would say, I mean, if anything, like, it's evident for anyone to see. If you were to look at like most rappers' catalogs right now, the shit that sells usually isn't the shit where they're being honest.
100%.
The shit that sells is the shit that just happens to bop, right? But like, even with, I mean, I guess also tracks on tap really, like King's Castle.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to be vulnerable. I've heard like his tracks.
Kings, man. He's got a track called Men Don't Cry.
Literally.
Which is,
absolutely. I listened to that recently, Oh, no, sorry. I listened to like a snippet.
I was going to say,
a snippet. Because I saw the cover art and I was like, this is hella interesting. And then I like listened to the snippet. Which, by the way, shout out to that cover art. It's pretty good. But like, even then, like, you do see, even in the sake of like, we were talking in the last podcast with Rack about like Shakes and Sykes and da-da-da.
Yes.
And like, yes, they have tracks that are like absolutely just about like, I'm this thing. But you can tell they have the space to be like open about shit.
Yeah. I think Sykes is open about stuff.
Yeah.
And Sykes has had like, bro, like, my dad was at one of the Tracks on Tap events, and Sykes performed like an emotional, like almost like tribute song. And he was emotional at the time and went off. And then, even my dad was like, making me cry, you know, like that.
This is my point, is that like the vulnerability, I can see what you're saying in regards to like, that is something we should have. And I do think that there is an element of that now. Even just like our culture nowadays is like more open to that. But that with youth culture, with working with young, I mean, what are the age ranges, if you don't mind me asking?
So with the charity I was working with, School Ground Sounds, based in Brixton, they're rebranding to Grounded Sounds. When this dropped, they'll probably be around the time of the rebrand. But they work with, so after school programs, more so 11 to 16-year-olds. I'm less so on that, but I work more on, they have a course called Grit School, 6-week industry crash course, get people in to like talk, give masterclasses, and that is sick. I done it in 2016. I done it twice actually, and then I started working on it. Righteous Demeanor also done it. So many people done it. I have to start name dropping. Bare people done it. And basically, I more work with the 16 to 24-year-olds on the Grit School course, because that's the course I've done. I have a good understanding of it and done that. And the 11 to 16 is more like after school programs. But I feel like just by experiences and what I've done, I'm more useful in the 16 to 24 and trying to just almost, I don't know, like we say, I'm from a different time. I feel like the opportunities they have now versus what we had is
nuts.
Absolutely
crazy, bro.
Mental.
Absolutely
so
crazy.
A big thing, aside from, I was going to mention this with feedback, but separately, I watch Hunger a lot. Like, I like to, it sounds tapped, but like not in no way of like I'm still hungry. Like I'm still hungry out here, but I like to feed the hungry. And that's my whole thing. It's like humble and hungry.
I was going to say, it's a bit weird you saying like they have a lot more opportunities when you're one of the people giving them. Because technically you're offering that platform.
But that seems weird because a lot of people don't like to give the youngest opportunities because they don't want to see the youngest do better than they did.
That's a bit
like
mad.
They didn't have the opportunity.
No,
so
absolutely.
it's like, let these lot have it the same way. Like,
see,
I'm like, nah, bro.
That's
let them
another
have
point I wanted
us.
to ask you is because like it's that element of, again, because you're from that era of like before social media was so easily accessible, you technically have to graft. Like, more than, no offense to like current people, but like it was more grafting.
Nah, let's give it to them hard because we help them and we support them, but they need to understand.
Hey, yo, listen, you're sick, but you don't understand. Okay, this is Sisyphus shit, climbing that mountain every fucking day and starting at the bottom again.
Yeah.
But even in that regard, like you're from that time, you have technically, and I don't want to say it like you should be, but you have every right to be on that side of like, nah, fuck them. I worked for this shit.
If I had what you lot had,
exactly.
Like,
you
so
absolutely, it's that weird elder shit that you got, but like you choose not to.
Yeah. I just think it's like, I think it's a bit sour not to, like, to almost look at it like, oh, they have more than us. It's like, I want to give them more than us because that's a young me. Like, that's me looking at myself.
That's that father mentality. That's the absolute, like, I don't want them to struggle like I did mentality.
Bro, like, you want your children to grow up in a different world. For my children, definitely. But then that's a whole other conversation, but scary thought of, like, how do, say we make it and we have children and they grow up in a different world. How do we, like, keep it a thing where we identify with them? But that's a whole nother podcast. Like, but yeah.
But now we'll get on that.
with the youngers in general, it's like youth work therefore taught me a lot of it because I remember like being at a point where I was like making more hip hop stuff, rap stuff, and I'm seeing the drill thing flying, and I'm like, bruv, I could be talking this shit because man's been through some shit, but I'm seeing man talk this shit who ain't even been through some shit, you know, like you ain't even had it that bad, like, but you lot just want to be part of it. And then I'm like, I remember
I'm not gonna lie though, I think the reason for that is like with drill came a lot of, like you didn't see it as much in hip hop and rap. There was some, but you didn't see it as much of like masking. You didn't have the option of like, oh cool, they don't know me.
Hidden.
Yeah, literally. You didn't have the opportunity to be like, because before it was like, nah, show your face. If you're real, show your fucking face. The only people who had exceptions were like MF Doom, like etc.
Yeah.
But like usually it's like, if you're gonna talk shit, like show me your face, because otherwise why would you
don't talk shit.
But then as soon as drill hit and like you saw the first wave of people wearing
majority
baddies,
are probably hidden.
And then they can say whatever they want. You can absolutely, like, I could put a bally on the same shit.
It's like having a fake account almost.
Exactly.
Some people I understand because I have a whole thing of like, bro, the men who are really out here doing the crazy stuff, they don't rap. Because they would be arrested tomorrow. Like, they can't rap.
You don't want to bait yourself out like that.
So that's the whole thing. So in some ways, the mask thing is like, some people might be hiding, some people might be hiding from the real, you know, like...
I don't want to say it like this, because obviously like, we're from different places, but like, even in regards to the people I know who like ran word, even when it came to rapping, it was like, they don't want to rap. They were like, listen, I got better shit to do. And also, I don't want to do this shit anyway.
They see themselves as trappers who rap rather than rappers who trap.
Exactly.
Like, there's a,
there's a whole disconnect,
yeah.
But like, we're talking about youth work, we're talking about working with different people. We haven't even touched on the fact that like, obviously, Mr. Tracks on Tap. How did Tracks on Tap come about?
Yeah. I was thinking,
what's that origin? I love that we're like 42 minutes into this and we're like, what's that origin?
42 minutes? Yeah, we're going to have to chop this out.
No. You know what? Extra long special is fine.
Yeah, man. This is my first ever podcast. This is probably the clip that we'll use. Listen, run it up. But nah, do you know what? I was going to leave the podcast and interview thing until mad late on. And I was like, nah, I need to get into this bag. I feel like I don't really talk a lot in general. Like I'm kind of like reserved, and that's just how I am as a person.
It's strange because like obviously my experience with Tracks on Tap in general.
Yes.
And we'll explain what it is in a second and how you created it. But like I've been to I think 3 events so far, and obviously I'm not from London.
You're
so
low
like,
key. I feel like I know you've been to events.
Man said I'm low key. I'm always in the back with a camera.
Okay, there we go.
I'm literally like this and shit. But like I've been to like 3 events. The first one I went was because of Rec anyway.
Was it Rec's headline with John and Marco playing the live instruments and?
Oh no, I don't think it was that one actually. Okay. Was it that one?
Maybe
it was. No, it was his headline set. It was his headline set. Yes. That was sick. The cypher afterwards also sick.
Yes.
But like, I went to a few events and it's like, you're almost like this unspoken CEO type shit.
Yeah.
You know when you see like
yeah.
everyone knows like a Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos,
Yeah.
but they all like talk. They all have their like meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
You're like some Succession level hidden boss, bro. Like, cause no one hears you like that unless you're on live.
Yeah, okay. This is so sick to hear, like on a kind of like
just conceptual
almost
level.
outside perspective. Not outside because you've been to events, you see, you probably know more than a lot of people. Especially, I know like you would have been looking before podcast to so it's like you know a lot more and respect for doing that.
But also, I've been don't get me wrong. I've been to 3 events, but I've been on like most lives. I've been on like
appreciate you, bro.
Like you'll see me hop on lives or I'll hop on like a reckless life is also.
When you shouted me on DM, I was like, I know you're at because I've seen you like for a good at least a year, probably a year and a half.
Exactly. That's my point. Is that like if it's not live, and even on live, like you often take a backseat. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like you'll talk, but because you have, and I don't think I've ever seen you on your own on live.
It? Yeah. Always got
every time I've seen you, it's not necessarily even just them. It's always just someone. Like
yeah.
There'll always be someone that you're happy to just like let run with it.
Of course.
And you're just there to like almost moderate.
Yeah. I hear that.
So it's interesting for this to be like you talking because you've been running this shit for a minute. So like. First of all, how'd you start running this shit? Why'd you make this shit? How'd you start running this shit? And like, what's the plans for this, bro?
I love that we've got into this like 45, 50 minutes in. Like, I love that.
The start of the episode, bro.
Yeah, the last episode was
we were chatting too much shit about nostalgia, bro.
But that's how old are you, by the way, bro?
I'm currently 27.
Okay, I'm 26. I'm going to be 27 in September. So that makes a lot of sense, right? We can, shout righteous to me, but
shout out the youngin.
The younger.
I can't even call him the youngin anymore because they're like sheiks and people. Like,
I was saying that the other day.
First time I met this man, like I was saying it on his thing. Like first time I met him was through like I work with Common Sounds. Obviously, this will be released under.
Shout out Common Sounds. Yes,
but they introduced me to him, and I was hearing his voice on like songs and like hearing like the demo he sent, the vocals, and I was just like. Yeah, this is kind of sick. Okay, cool. How old is this man? He must have been through shit. And they're like, no, he's like 19, 18. And I'm like, fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
But I was like, first of all, I'm jealous because high-ass voice. Secondly, fuck you for like sounding like that. I remember me at 18, 19. If I was scribbling bars, they were not this. They were not this. But Tracks on Tap, like what made you decide to start that?
So... I always wanted to. I'm gonna try and do it quickly. Cause I can't.
Don't worry, man. We got like 20 minutes. We're good.
Yeah. What we? I'm down to. Is it booked after? Is it?
Oh, I've got it till 7.
Oh, you got it till 7?
Yeah.
Oh, let's chat. Let's chat.
Just to let you know, this man had to leave at 6, and he was like, "We need to speed this." And now it's let's chat. Amazing.
I got yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, the creation of Tracks on Top, because obviously like you got youth work, you got obviously you coming up yourself from like Friday freestyles to your video.
Friday freestyle. Friday. Come on.
But like now the creation of like Tracks on Top, how does that come about for you?
Cool. So. Yeah, all right. I feel like we got time to speak. So I always wanted to make a page online, I guess, on Instagram at the time, because that was what was popping. It could have been about cars. It could have been about football. It could have been about anything. I remember seeing the 433 page. Sick page. Shout out 433 because their social media is sick.
That's old as well. That was like one of the...
They do it like heavy and it's like their stuff is sick. So yeah, there's that. And I always just kind of wanted to make a page and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So this is like, it's mad thinking that because it's like, it's so not linked to TOT. And then I was thinking on this from like a couple of months. And at the time I wasn't working. I was just trying to rap. I wanted to be a rapper. Didn't go uni. Kind of problems a bit with parents in terms of like, you know, like I'm kind of not, what am I doing? And I always talk about this whole thing of like the energy I kind of put in or the belief I put in. And I was like, I always knew I was going to do something. At the time, I thought I was going to be a rapper and be like, yeah, it's like rap is... It's so like deeper. And I don't know if we got the time. Like,
we got time. Trust me.
The deep part is that I wanted to go and be a maths teacher on a 9 to 5 / like normal route. On the other hand, I wanted to be a rapper. I love music and I started working with Schoolground Sounds as a way to like almost get by at the time whilst doing something that I enjoyed to do and giving back to the people who helped me and kind of gave me a bit of structure and routine. And then I was like, all right, cool, this is sick. I can do this with other people. And the CEO of Schoolground Sounds at the time was therefore just looking out for me and giving me something to do, 100%. And I appreciate him for that. And yeah, it was this whole thing of like, if I become a maths teacher, I don't feel like I can take my family out of their situation. But my family would be happy with me becoming a maths teacher because
it's stable.
I can take myself out of the situation. It's stable enough to take myself out. I can have a wife and kids and a family and I'm good. And if I'm good, they're happy. But the problem is that if they're not as good as I am, I'm not happy. So that degree and wage and life means nothing to me because if you lot are still where you were when before I had this,
then what have I really done?
What is this? Yeah. So I was just always on this like, I need to go overboard because my happiness is them being happy. Yeah. And that's why the whole like Tracks on Tap thing is like, it's like I get the selfless thing, but it's like the same way the artists are trying to build their thing and make a living. Of course. 100% I'm trying to build an empire. I'm trying to change my family's lives. Like that's like a big part of my personal drive. Like why I do what I do, why I get up and do it. Like, and so that was always a thing. It was like, if I went to uni and done that, I'll be good, but my family won't. And it's like, that's not good enough for me. And I know it's a bit like, well, you're kind of running on a pipe dream, but it's like, I'm cool with that because
it's kind of the global pipe dream. Like when you're a kid, the whole point is like, unless you got like obviously a bad home life is different. But like the whole thing is to be like, hey, I want to help my family if they're not in a good situation.
Yeah. And I guess, like we're saying, bad home life. There's home life where you're like, you don't almost have a home. Like man might grow up in care or not around parents. Right. And that's like, I grew up in a household where I was like, oh, we're going to go deep, but almost like, parents were like almost together for me, like to just keep me afloat. And I was aware of that, and they were like almost open with that in a way. Yeah. And so I guess I knew that was coming, and I was also on this like that almost added a bit of extra pressure because like I need to pattern for both of you, not you two together. It's not one house, it's two houses. Like this whole thing, and I'm like,
because you want them to be happy at the same time.
I can't do that off a teacher wage, and even talking about the start of Tracks on Tap, this wasn't even the direct start because at the time of making Tracks on Tap, that whole motivation and push, like parents-wise and just trying to change my life and the people around me's life was still within the rap world, like within the artist world, within me making it as an artist until I started Tracks on Tap in October 2018. And then by February 2019, so like 4 or 5 months later, we were running events. Yeah. So that happened so quick, but that wasn't in the plan almost. Like I didn't intend for that to happen that quick. I went to perform at South Sounds at a friend's event as Lil Trubz in December 2018. And then that venue shouted me, said, we want to get some regular nights in. We've seen what you're doing with Tracks on Tap online. What do you think about running an open mic night for the artists on your page? I was like, I've never run an event in my life. I have no idea or
so when
like
you started
experience.
This page, it was very much just like, this is something you're passionate about.
I made the click between, so like I was saying, it could be cars, could be football, could be anything I'm into. Then I was like, I'm doing music. I have a lot of friends doing music. Let me make a music page.
It's a space for you almost.
This makes sense. And I'm like, it was just meant to be a page and grow the page. And then if we get this page to like 100K, I can share my friend's shit and share my shit and we can get seen. Like, so that was the initial thought of Tracks on Tap until events came along. And I remember from the first event, we got like £110 for the total, like the total gross.
That's when you got nothing, right?
Bro, I was like, yo, I made a deal with my DJ. I was like, do you want a fixed percentage of each event or do you want a fixed pay? Like, and he was like, we made a pay and it was I'll speak openly, but it was £50 like at each event. And I remember the way he got involved was he shouted at me, he's like, yo, like I see you doing the Tracks on Tap thing, is there any way you can push DJs? And I'm like, bro, I got events coming up, maybe you could DJ at the event. He's like, I'm down. This is my friend from school, like we played pat ball in year 7 and he became G's and shout out GK, shout out GK, man. But yeah, and then I remember the first event we got £110 in total. So I'm paying him 50 of that and I'm getting 60. So we're almost getting the same. And he's like, bro, like, nah, like, and I'm like, bro, there's going to be times where we might get 200 and then you're still going to get paid the fixed price because that's what we agree on and I'll get. So it's like, and that's why to this day I like having a percentage of tickets, because tickets is a good motivation. I have to push tickets.
You want growth.
I don't really want a percentage of bars because I don't want to push alcohol on people. But pushing tickets on people and asking them to come and support is great. If you want to grab a drink while you're there, grab a drink.
That's all to you.
That's great. Like, it helps the venue who are helping us kind of thing. But yeah, I remember kind of having that. And then that's a whole other conversation of trying to negotiate deals and working ways and trying to just kind of set it up.
From there, it's now grown into what it is now, which is like, I mean, you're shows on shows on shows deep. To the point where you now have like a different division of tracks on top of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. When you say it like that,
I should have been obviously like the Streatham space and stuff when the shows were happening there, but then like obviously you've got like the East events, and then like I assume you're planning for more shit.
Of course, and then we can speak about that. We can drop the exclusive here. Rex out of his chair right now. We live.
You know what? Fine, fuck it. What's the exclusive? We are 54 minutes in. What's the exclusive?
The first ever podcast. And appreciation for getting me on. Thank you. And
always.
I'm bare enjoying this.
You're always on the list.
This is gonna make me do more podcasts. So anyone who gets me on the podcast after this,
absolutely shout this man. Ridiculous.
Thank Rick. Like
shout this man.
I was gonna leave it another decade.
Also, nicest by the way. When we were coming up with this, like with the Common Sounds people, it's just because like I enjoy chatting shit, right? So this is a lot easier for me. But like I had to make a list for them. I had to be like, all right, who would I think could come on and da. And they were thinking like, oh, people I know, like personally. And I was like, I could, but then it's just two friends talking. So I was like, I was making a list, and it was like Rec, and then I was like, wait a minute, like obviously I know Reckless, but at the same time, this Donny's got a whole fucking page for him. I never see this guy chat a single line in his life. Like,
less is more.
Why wouldn't I get this? Right?
Yeah.
But obviously, contacted you. I contacted like a variety of people. I contacted like 10 people altogether.
Okay.
Some people didn't reply. Some people did reply, obviously. Bro, first of all, you're the quickest to reply. No, genuinely.
Don't gas me.
Genuinely, quickest to
big compliment.
It was not long. It was not fucking long. And you were the quickest to reply. And then also, you were just like hella appreciative of just a dude doing a fucking podcast.
Yeah, bro.
You were just like, yo, this is amazing, man. Thank you so much. I was like, okay, thank you. What?
Everyone has to start from somewhere. Like,
right,
and this is a sick convo, so I'm going to watch the convos you have with other people and watch it grow. Like,
but that's kind of just you as a person. You're levying things in a way that's like positive. And then like even with these events.
Yeah.
Like the way you're moving is very much like you're doing all this. So growth is not surprising to anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is why this exclusive will be surprising to no one. What's the exclusive?
It will be. Okay. The exclusive of the announcement that I guess I'm going to say isn't surprising. But I feel like me doing a podcast kind of surprising. I'm gassed.
That's surprising. Yeah, for real.
We'll run that. But okay, so I won't say an order so that there's still a bit of excitement for the people.
Absolutely.
Because people kind of been asking if we're in lives and that people coming and it's like, what are you saying this year? What's the plan? What's the goal? What are you doing? And my goal this year, the dream, which Rec actually gave me like a whole new almost pattern. And I always say to people, I'm like, bro, a majority of this work is conversation. Like we learn from conversation, we get ideas from conversation. 50% is conversation, the other 50% is trying to execute. Yeah. Because we talk about 100 ideas.
Of course.
Every couple months, and we might only do 3 of them. That's cool. Same way an artist might make 100 songs and 2 of them might go big. Yeah. And it's like that's just the grind. And we're happy with that. But so the dream this year is to run an event in Brum, Manny and Liverpool. So the branch out, because I feel like right now, back in the day, the exclusive platforms were so exclusive. When we see a SB warm-up drop or a Fire in the Booth drop, we're we already know it's hard before we listen because you don't get on there unless you're sick.
Right.
And that was a big thing, quality control. And I guess we have TOT exclusives, which are very small scale right now, but that's the plan to grow. And it's I feel like obviously branching out is a big thing. And I don't know, man. I watched a documentary which I recommend to everyone called The Founder. It's about a guy called Ray Kroc.
Absolutely.
Have you seen it?
You saw the documentary or the film?
The film, but I guess it's a doc. You seen that?
Absolutely. Michael Keaton. It was fucking sick.
Have you seen it?
I love that film. Bro, it's a sick film. That film is amazing. Obviously, it shows some downfalls of it, but it's genuinely a good film. Watch that film.
So he there's the McDonald's brothers.
Obviously.
I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing.
In fact, it's just about, let's say, it's about the rise of McDonald's in an unexpected way.
Yes.
And how that shit can happen.
Yes.
That's what it essentially is.
I won't say nothing about the film. I'll just talk generally, which doesn't spoil the film. But McDonald's ain't ever gonna sell cheeseburgers for £10 each.
No.
The cheeseburgers, right? They used to be 99p. Now they're like £1.
Yeah, but that's standard inflation.
Tiny,
yeah.
like, and they franchise out. There's a McDonald's everywhere. Wherever you are,
there's more than
you can find a McDonald's anywhere you are. Yeah, and there's that whole thing. And I'm like, where's the spot for up and coming music right now? Like SB warm-ups were back then. That was like
of course
thing where if you want to find the hottest talent, that's that. And Fire in the Booth, that's that. And I feel like
but
now,
even like Fire in the Booth was like, it wasn't necessarily up and coming. It was like you still had to be proven. You still had to be really fucking good.
SB was closer to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, there was people. I remember where like Youngin dropped his SB or like Cash dropped their SB, and I'm like,
Youngin's SB. If you've never seen Youngin's SB, go watch Youngin's SB. It is insane to watch that and then see that man's like growth as an artist. It's nuts.
I'll clip this myself and send it to someone who can send it to Youngin. But please, the F64, the SB warm up,
fucking insane, bro.
Please give us a freestyle, please.
Where you been? Another point.
Yeah. Shout Youngin, man.
So that's the exclusive, by the way, that we just kind of glossed over is Brum, Manny, Liverpool.
If we can get a tracks on tap there, because I'm bare digressing, but the Ray Kroc thing, the McDonald's thing is this whole like franchise.
Yes.
So rather than making it a 500 capacity in London, let's make it 100 capacity in London from Manny.
Here's the thing though, as nuts as that is that like, you're saying this with the whole like Ray Kroc thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's not true, because the Ray Kroc thing is very much like, no offense to the film, but like it's kind of selfish.
Yeah, he was trying to hit a bag.
Man's doing franchise for the cash.
He didn't give a fuck.
You're doing franchising to get people attention.
Yeah. Defo a fuse of both. Of like I say, we're always trying to build the
original
empire.
intent of the McDonald's brothers mixed with like Ray Kroc's marketing ability.
But no, you're right. Because it genuinely is like, all right, I'm trying to build an empire. But I always say to other people who are doing similar things, you doing the podcast and bringing people on and giving people a platform and having conversations and people getting to find out deeper stuff into the artist or the plug or whoever it is. And it's like, there's this whole thing of if this can grow and you can start doing adverts off of it or like, you know, like get it sponsored, whatever it is. It's like, if we can make a living off of doing things we love and helping people and supporting people,
that ain't that the dream.
That's the dream. Yeah. It's like, you shouldn't. I remember when I first started TOT and the events and having income coming from it, I was like, this is weird. Also, if you want another drink,
nah, it's all good. Don't worry about it. We ain't got time to pour a drink on this.
I'm gonna pour one more.
Yeah, we got bring it.
If people shit.
No. If people want to build on a thing and have that ability to then grow it and advertise it or want to make it bigger.
Yes. So if people can find a way to make a living off of what they love or helping people, that's a beautiful thing. Like I'm not mad at anyone who does that. And people almost root for you to do it. Like they're like, Trubz, like.
But that's kind of my point.
Like, this is my point. Like, how can we
I'm glad we got to this point because my original question was, why did you start Tracks on Tap?
Yeah.
And you've encapsulated it by also saying what you're doing next. Which is that like the whole point of this is that, first of all, you're not finished.
No.
Even though
I ain't started. Like,
even though when you started this and it became bigger than you expected, you're nowhere close to finish.
No,
like, when I was talking to Rec before about moving goalposts, bro, you're moving goalposts, but you're making sure that goalpost is international. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And before, listen, I don't want to gloss over how important it is that you're going to Brum, Manny, Liverpool, because you know what, it's important because obviously London is a huge hub in regards to rap and the music industry stuff. And even like obviously people know Manny Spitters, you got Bugsy London, you got etc. Even Brum wise, calm.
South One, Manu, down there.
Liverpool wise, less so, but like it still has that scene. So the ability that you're gonna have to like platform people, and like you were saying, smaller audiences, but it means everything to those opportunities.
Yes.
So now I want to move on to something that's a little more refined, because that right there is raw shit. That right there is like, okay, you're starting out. Let me give you a stage. Prove yourself. And let's see what you can do.
Let's go this thing together.
Now let's move that over to okay, how about the people you already gave a stage? Because I know that TOT album is in the works.
Yeah. Let's get into it. By the way, ask anything you want. Like, I'm such an open book. Like, no I feel like while I'm here.
That's crazy, because on the live when someone asked for the track list, like, he pretended to be quiet. Yeah, Reckless over there. I saw this. That? Man, them went on the live. And yeah, exactly. They're like, what's the track list? And he's like, oh yeah, you got the...
Yeah. We'll still do that.
And then someone said, I missed the track list, and he went, oh, you missed it? Well. Like,
shout out, those who watch this might catch it. But if they don't see this and they come in the live, they'll get that again.
Absolutely, yeah.
What you say? I'm looking at my manager right now.
The thing is, though,
how much can I say? Right?
No. I'm not going to ask you for track list specifics. I mean, I know a couple. I've been listening to snippets. I remember months ago when you put out snippets. I know shit.
You deserve it.
You're nuts, bro. If you think, first of all, I think at this point, most people know probably Youngest in Charge. That's the flame. That's the flame still. But like, even we're talking like Liquor by the Liter, etc., etc.
Big.
But before we move in, I just want to know the TOC album, how that came about, and how much are you a part of it in regards to creative direction?
Yeah. So I'm as much a part of it with creative direction as Righteous Demeanor. We're like, so yeah, it's mad. We're exec producing it, but I'm clocking up, stumbling a couple words. I'm like, the rum's getting, man. I'm good. People enjoy watching a drunk Trubz because they rarely see a drunk Trubz, so it's funny.
No, but like, you got, like, obviously it's a weird comparison because like it's insane to say it's E1-to-1, but like it's similar to the vibe of like a Dreamville album where it's like, you've got rapper on just vibing and making good shit, and then you're deciding on what cuts make it.
Yeah. That's the mad part that we didn't even think about before the album. We kind of considered, but we was like, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. Nowadays, like, even stuff that we're on, we're like,
is it worth it?
Yeah, like,
because you were saying like on that live, like maybe it's only like 4 or 5 tracks, and like, bro, that's an EP. That's not an album necessarily.
So that's also a thing we come across. We're like, maybe we drop couple, because like we want to do Tracks on Tap, and then Tracks on Tap Volume 2, and then Tracks on Tap, and maybe we build up to an album because we want that to be the, like, obviously we're trying to push industry and blah blah blah.
Yes,
but I don't know, man. Like, even Stormzy dropped the 168, the mixtape, and kind of came up until it was album time, and it's like, I learned a lot from chatting to Righteous Demeanor, and like vice versa. It's like we're like 5 years, 5 years apart.
But like, what?
Yo, young wreck, man. And even, you know, like in the podcast when you man were speaking, and it was like almost like kind of going back and forth and little clashing and bar. I feel like when I was kind of listening to it, I was like, we were sparring, we weren't fighting. You know, like,
were just going back and forth.
I'm trying to say nothing that'll write each other off, or that'll be like, oh, you know, like, change people's perspective. But I was like, within a world where we're not gonna like violate each other, but we're gonna just go head to head on like flows and bars, like, you know, like just going. It felt like sparring.
See, this is my thing. Like, as much as like as a rapper, first of all, like, because obviously you don't put out as much rapping necessarily as someone like Righteous Demeanor, like, etc.
Yeah.
Because you're like focusing on like everything else, right?
Yeah.
But like, obviously when you're on, you're trying to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Listen, I remember when the Natasha freestyles were out. By the way, I did one. Go fucking listen to it. No, it's irrelevant. No. But like, even with this, like, you're saying you're an executive producer. Obviously, Righteous is an executive producer.
We're trying.
As someone who's running this, like, as someone who's obviously, you brought, I mean, Tracks on Tap is your idea, etc., and it's gotten to this point. How do you decide on what talent makes it?
It's mad.
Because I know personally, and even before, like when Rec was on, he was like naming names about people he thinks are like need more attention.
Yeah.
My point is more like, you are surrounded by like talent.
Yeah.
How do you make that decision?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to answer questions direct instead of keep digressing. Kind of. But like,
we'll make it a movie. It's all good.
Direct. Either we'll just chop out clips and just dash bear them on Insta. Probably dash this on Insta. But like, we'll just keep finding ways to bring them back to YouTube, but it's, or Spotify, depending on where you put it.
I mean, this will be on Spotify. And the video will be on YouTube, but this will be on Spotify.
Lit. I'm gassed. I'm gonna watch it myself. I'll be watching this part. Like,
if you watch this on YouTube, you're not watching it for me. You're watching it for my bosses. Because I did not want to be on video. I'm not made for this.
Nah, bro. Yeah.
Nah, I'm not lying to you. If they crop this and it's just me, this looks like the worst Indian marriage advert ever. Nah, it's nuts. but I'm also looking for a wife. Anyway, no, I'm kidding.
Listen,
but like I was saying, how do you make that decision on talent?
Yeah. So, I feel like as I grow, I don't say older. Maybe older's good because it feels more wisdom than age. Like, but as I grow, I'm like, it's not really helpful to not give people the real.
Yeah.
And I can tell when people ask for feedback if they want the real or they want validation.
Just validation, yeah.
And I'll give it based off of that, which maybe I should just give the real all the time. But there's people who are not ready for that.
Right.
And that's cool. Like I wasn't ready for that in year 10. Like
if someone what
grilled
benefits
me,
them.
I'd be like,
right.
Like I want to like.
That's fine.
I'd be upset. Like I want to clash around or like but maybe you want to prove me wrong. But I don't want to kind of be in that light. But that's tough love. Like and I love tough love. Like that's. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the best ways to grow.
And is that your approach to this? It's like when you're looking at how
kind of,
who can enter.
I'm like, I feel like I'm very like, I feel like I identify as an empath. Like I'm like, I don't know. I try and work around people. I'll read the room and try and work based off of that room. Basically, I feel like if you're not being very real with people, you're wasting time. And I feel like I'm past the point of wasting time. And sometimes I still get in situations where I'm, even outside of music, I'm having a conversation with someone and I'm like, I want to just like tell you the raw. But right now you're so in the midst of your situation that I'll ruin the situation for you if I do that. So sometimes it's good to let people live and learn from experiences like I have and like so many others have. And sometimes it's good to almost tell man and narrate that experience or have the conversation with them that they're going to have separately. But yeah, with the music, it's like, it's getting to a point where I'm understanding the value of, I guess, like tracks on tap and what we're putting out and how important this is, because if we drop a sick tape, that now provides a platform for the next people on the next tape because people are going to watch again.
It's almost like a freshman thing.
Stuff's coming from
as you release it, it's going to be like, okay, this is the first class.
Yes.
And like now you want to prove yourself. You got to be either better than this or matching it.
Yes. And that's what we want. When you come in for the next and you've heard the first album, you know that it's like, this is the level. And if you're not hitting the level, we're not going to do it.
Unfortunately,
And that's it. Even
but this is my point, is like, how do you decide the level?
Yeah. So, all right, right now we're very much on, so I was saying in the live, it's like 5 to 7 tracks almost. We're at like 4 right now. So we're saying like 2 to 3 more. Maybe it's 1 more, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3. We'll see based off the music. But it's like, we're trying to, right now it's the first time. I love trial and error. That's everything. Like music, plug, everything is trial and error. And if we trial it out, if we just done drill or we just done hip hop, it's not much trial and error because we're only trialing or market research in one audience. Whereas if we have 6 to 7 songs that are quite different, and someone who likes track 3 might not like track 1, someone who likes track 2 might not like track 4. Hopefully they like them all because we like them all, obviously, because we're putting them
But you're saying it's not a bad thing if they like one thing and not because everyone has taste.
The dream is that everyone who listens to the whole TOT album can take one song with them and be like, this is my jam. Like, this is my shit. Okay. And even if they don't like the rest, that's cool. And say 80% take the R&B song. Okay, next tape, we're going heavy R&B because you lot love that shit.
Love it. Yeah.
And same way we're talking about Manny Brum and Liverpool. Yeah. We go to Manny Brum Liverpool. If Manny sell 120 tickets, Liverpool sell 30 and Brum sell 40, we're going back to Manny because that's just supply and demand. But it's like same with the album, it's supply and demand. Same with the events, it's supply and demand. What it's this whole thing of like, we're just a platform for the people. I always say, if people think of a way they can use this platform to help them, shout me and tell me the idea and let's do it. Because if it can help you, that's what the platform's here for. It's like, it's a two-way street. And I guess lost my train.
This is my thing, right? Is that like, it's interesting to see the duality of that. Because obviously TSC as itself is a platform for everyone.
Yeah.
But when it comes to shows and when it comes to obviously this album, it's almost like you're refining. It's like you're setting a filter almost. It's like, okay, cool, we'll give a platform to everyone.
Yeah.
but also we're gonna showcase the best of everyone.
Yes,
Right?
which I think the best of everyone is important for everyone else. Whether you're in the best right now,
you're gonna learn something.
or you're you haven't arrived there yet. Which is kind of mad to say, because like I want to push everyone, and it's like I want to give the same energy to everyone, but my energy has to match your energy. So the guys who are like I say, the hungry need to be fed. The man who are out here on everything, it's like I'm gonna shout you for everything. The man who are out here for 1-2 things, I'll shout you for 1-2 things.
I asked, and I will continue to ask, like rappers that come on here, if they feel they made it.
Okay,
but it's extra special for you.
Yeah,
because obviously, not only do you have more of an enterprise now.
Yeah.
Right, because you've obviously got this other thing. You've got Tracks on Tap as a whole thing, but also you got the 8 bars thing as well.
Shout 8 bars.
Which I know we haven't mentioned too much, but obviously...
We speak a bit about that before we go.
Absolutely.
If we have time.
But the reason I want to ask you this question of like, if you feel you made it, is because you said, what was it? If I blow, I'll be more happy than the kids' meal at MacD's.
Oh, Freestyle Fridays, volume 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Was it volume
Exact
1?
volume.
Was volume 2, innit?
Exact volume as well, right?
Shout look and
You said,
man.
if I blow, I'll be more happy than the kids' meal at MacD's.
Yeah.
My question, are you more happy than the kids' meal at MacD's?
Right now, yeah. Look at my face before the question even came in. The camera's there to prove it, but I feel like I'm on my way. I said it in a recent Churchill Dance freestyle. What's the...
Which, go check that out.
Go check that out. Go check out 3 AM in Damascus before you check that out. But,
yes, TOT exclusives, TOT YouTube channel. Go check that out. It'll be linked.
What do I say? I'm on the
are you
road,
more
I'm on
happy?
my way, I'm on the path, I'm on my way, I'm on the road, I'm on my way to... It's some kind of order, but I'm on my way, I'm on the path, I'm on the road, I'm on my way to greatness. And yeah, man, like, I don't know, I'm always on this, like... Maybe it's the rapper in me that's on this, like, I want to succeed myself. So, like,
okay,
man's like, if Righteous Demeanor blows tomorrow, I ain't blown yet, but I love that.
I'll make it a
like,
plan.
I'm gonna sit with my feet up for a week and just watch Rec do whatever the fuck he does.
Okay.
So, like, that's like a, like he done that, but
would that
I'm
make
grateful
you
to have seen it. Yeah.
Would that almost be like? Because obviously
making
you
it.
have a different chance here. Because like a lot of rappers obviously are doing it for themselves, but you have also like this want and drive for other rappers.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, like 3 AM in Down Square, go hit it up. Let's say it does hit like nuts numbers.
Yeah.
Is that you now being, even though you're in the video, so I guess there's that as well. But like, is that you also being like, okay, I'm also happy about that?
Yeah, but whether it was on Tracks on Tap channel or Righteous Demeanor channel,
Right.
I would be happy about that because that's like the dream is that one day I'm like chilling, I pass Tracks on Tap over to my youth, he takes over that, and I just sit back, and the guys who I came up with, they're gone, and now I'm just chilling. Like, I might go check Rex show, might go check Sax's show, might go check, you know, like, I'm like, I'm just, what's everyone on? What you doing? Yeah. I'll be sending woo to you.
They're all just like, bro, I'm 70, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
That's a big part of my thing. I always say to the young G's, I'm like, when I can call you and get voicemail and I don't get an answer, even if I ring twice, I don't get an answer, my job's done. That's like, I always tell them that, and they get mad at me. They're like, what do you mean, Trubz? Like, I'm going to answer you. And I'm like, no, but...
For everyone listening and for everyone watching, go check out Good Will Hunting, which is a great film.
Oh, no.
Because my man is just saying Good Will. Man said, like, I wake up every day hoping I don't see you here because then I know you made it.
I explained that scene to my dad to explain what I mean by that.
What you're trying to do, yeah, absolutely. But that's exactly what it sounds like. If I call and you don't answer, I'm happy because I know you're on bigger things.
Finish me. I'm finished. I'm like...
Well, you can't be because we got 2 more things. Number 1 is 8 bars.
Yeah.
Obviously, by the time this releases, the vote will be over for what was obviously the challenge.
Yes.
That challenge, of course, allowed someone to not only meet an A&R representative, but
I didn't want to finish.
Go for it.
I didn't want to overgas it, but as in...
No, but that's huge.
Davina is like... Tion Wayne has multiple managers.
Right.
She went to school near him. I know this because I watched Tion Wayne's documentary.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan of the game. I'm trying to learn and watch everything. Like, and then she's manager. Bro, he went platinum in UK and Australia. Do you know how crazy that is? Like, and someone can go and meet her and chat to her.
Which is nuts.
I remember putting on my story, I'm like, if you lot don't enter, you're not hungry enough. And that's my whole thing. Like I say, it's the hunger.
It is genuinely
is so
that.
important.
To have an opportunity. Now, obviously, is 8 Bars your thing, or is it just like your part-time?
No. I work for 8 Bars part-time. Yeah.
So, obviously, you work for the app. I think like I've seen. I think Destiny is also the other person.
Yeah.
Also like works for the app.
It's Destiny.
But like,
you're not wrong.
Both advertise. Yeah, we're out here giving like Instagram handles. But like the opportunity to obviously go meet an A&R representative. Is something that like should not be undermined.
100%.
Because if this opportunity comes again, obviously it depends on how successful it is with 8 Bars and whether or not they choose to do it again. But like even the secondary and third things are like obviously people get to choose like who's in a cypher and stuff.
Yes.
That alone is a big thing. The fact that you can choose like who's about to spit on you on a stage.
You have the power to direct the cypher. Like how hard is this cypher going to be? Right. You decide, pick your 4. Like,
exactly. And realistically, like you can, I mean, I hate to say this, but any rapper who's picking a weak cypher, listen, it's because you're insecure. you want to pick your biggest competition because you want to prove that you're all hard as fuck. But like
facts.
To have that in itself is nuts because that's you having a playing field that is to a bunch of people. But then to go and meet an A&R representative, someone who has like, and I feel like people forget about A&Rs because like it's really a job where people look and think like, oh, all you do is listen to people.
They're kind of the gap.
Huge.
They're a big part of the whole gap between the bottom and the top.
Exactly. It's a bridge between like recognizing what can help you be successful and what can help you stay where you are.
Yes.
And so that opportunity is huge, first of all.
Yep.
How did that happen that you became a part of it?
Okay, so always mad to mention Jamal, but RIP Jamal Edwards, shout out Jamal Edwards, the actual GOAT for the blueprint of like UK
all of this,
plug-in social enterprise.
If before, listen, shout out P110, shout out GRM Daily, shout out even smaller things like I remember back when every city had their own little version of SBTV. But it was because of SBTV. You cannot underplay what that man did.
No, I don't think no one will. Like it's a when we root this all back, obviously everyone's in the midst of it. We're like a decade or two in. Like we'll still be in for like till like 2030 until we start being like, where did this come from? Where did this root from? Probably be a Netflix documentary on it. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. That'll be in 2 years, bro. Not 20. Not 20.
Soon come, and it's like, so basically, I was like blessed enough to do a TOT X SBTV challenge, which was like, bro, I remember seeing it when towards the end of the challenge, SBTV posted the top 10.
Yes.
And had like, obviously, their things more advanced than ours, and they had like almost templates and the names of the artists and I'm like,
they've been in the game a while.
I remember when I see the post, bro, like SBTV. They didn't have that on the post. I wish that did.
Yeah, they saw that a few 10 years in.
I remember Jamal saying
like
in one vid, I need to bring that back. Everyone's asking. I was even watching a Jamal interview the other day. I feel like when Jamal passed away, I kind of stopped studying as much because I feel like, I don't know, when someone
you need time to
passes,
step back, bro.
Yeah. And I weren't like close to Jamal, like, you know, like people who would know, but I was like inspired by and looked up to and got the pleasure to spend a day with him via 8 Bars. And that felt like a full circle moment, even though obviously afterwards passed away, but it was like, I don't know, maybe our relationship weren't meant to develop, and the way I got brought in, because shout out Cal, who I work with, who kind of brought me into 8 Bars, but me and him met through Jamal. So I done the SBTV XCOT challenge with Jamal, and then Jamal started almost co-founding 8 Bars with Adam, who runs 8 Bars. Real quick, Adam was like a football agent beforehand in like Germany, Brazil, come over to the UK, was working on 8 Bars. He was like at Chelsea, football ground, almost just popping in, knew a few people.
Just casually.
Casually. These are in a whole different stratosphere. Jamal was a Chelsea fan, was always there. Yeah. And those two kind of connected via that. And then Adam brought Jamal on board. I believe, as far as I know, Jamal brought Davina on board, who's the A&R, who people are meeting. And that kind of came together. And then after we done the SB and TOT session, Jamal shouted me and was like, bro, like, do a challenge with 8 Bars. Like, and to me, it's like, bro, if Jamal tells me to do something, you're
gonna fucking do it.
Like, just straight. Like I said, I don't even care. No, like, ego to
it could be the worst thing in the world, but like, I'll still do it, bro.
You're the GOAT. Like, you're in America, Jay-Z's my guy, and in UK, Jamal's the guy. Like, and yeah, when he told me to do something, I'm like, all right, cool, yo. And I didn't know what 8 Bars was, who it was, nothing. And then I met up with them. I met up with Cal, who similar story to mine of how Jamal kind of brought him into 8 Bars. And then we connected. And then it was just like, yeah, even now, like yesterday, we were literally sitting, having a little drink.
Just chilling, chatting, having a good relationship.
Like, hear him explain, like, deeper, but yeah, so that's how I got introduced. I was familiar with 8 Bars for like a year and a half. We done work. Even the first time I done like a event in the 8 Bars app with Tracks on Tap, they like paid me for the event, which I was like grateful for and helped me a lot at the time. And I don't know, I always had a good relationship with them and like appreciated that, but also appreciated what they were doing, because this whole thing of how can we give opportunity to the next gen who don't have the opportunity, who have like better opportunity than we had. How can we give them more opportunity than we had?
It's interesting because it's almost like, because we see what like modern social media takes, etc. Everyone, there's always a challenge. Every week there's a challenge, there's a trend, right? Yeah. But like often the whole point of that challenge and trend on like social media is just like, okay, you got exposure, calm, like that's enough. And then I guess that's the interesting thing about 8 Bars is like you get exposure, but like you also get something else. Like you have the opportunity to be like, there's something there. Yeah. By the way, download 8 Bars only on Apple devices right now. Working on Android, I assure you.
By the end of 2023, I'm happy to do it. Whenever you want to do a next podcast, we'll do it. And whenever you want to do it, we'll do it. I promise you. And when we do the next one, we'll talk about 8 Bars. But bro, what they've got in store this year, I'm trying not to tell people, because my whole hunger thing is like, if I tell you what they got in store from
you're going to be expectations different, yeah.
I don't know how real that jump on is. But if you don't know what's coming and you jump on,
then it proves it's sick.
I'm like, you're hungry before it's big. Like,
you know what? I'll tell you what, the next one we do will be 8 Bars and then some of the funny fucking stories. I beg you.
Yeah. Bro, we can do this.
Before we end, we got 2 more things. Number 1 is Desert Island. I beg you. Listen, it's 1 book, 1 movie, 1 album. What's it going to be? Start off with your book.
No, do you know what? And I hear why, because when I was watching you and Righteous's podcast, I was like, I understand why. I'm gonna start with album, just because. Okay. Basically, I'm not much of an album guy, which is bare weird. But I listen to the man them's projects. But when I was young, growing up, I weren't much of an album guy. It's weird because my dad bangs vinyls like heavy, like he like has his collection and shit. Like, and I was never. I don't know, man. Like even now, when I listen to tapes, I take like 1 to 5 tracks that I fuck with and I keep them.
Right.
And the rest of the
it's hard for you to find like a whole project that you can really like invest in. Yeah. Interesting. So what's your album?
My album is the first ever album I properly listened to. These days it was like downloaded on my brethren's PC. Okay. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to jump into this. Can you get? I want you to.
No, I can't guess. I'm not gonna lie. You threw me for a loop earlier when you mentioned Sam Cooke. I was like, oh my god, man's out here with
that's my favorite song
with the
ever.
drip.
Because if I was like happy and over, say I just won the Youth Music Awards.
This is also a Sam Cooke song, but like I get a similar vibe from Cupid. Like Cupid's a banger by Sam Cooke. Oh, bro.
Ooh, I know a couple like. A Change Is Gonna Come was like my intro, like the big one.
It's
and
great.
then I know a couple more. Like
Cupid was like the first, I think, love song I ever heard in my life.
Okay.
And I'm completely by accident. I was literally walking down the street and someone was blasting it out of their car and I was like, what is this?
What is that? Yeah,
It's the most like of the time era type song, but it made me feel like so this is like an interesting way music can make you feel. Because before that, I was like R&B, and R&B was always just like sexy. It was always like
what? Because you know when you were talking about in the last podcast with Righteous, you were talking about like Walkman and. No, that was earlier. That was in ours, actually. I didn't want to cut you earlier.
Yeah,
bro,
Walkman with the CD.
I remember having the CD player.
I had tape players as well. Don't get it twisted. We were broke, so I got hand-me-downs. I had like tape players. My mom had an 8-track player. My mom weren't even alive when that was being used.
I so mad. Sidetrack, bro. 8-track rum. They're called 8-track rum.
I know.
They like sent me a bottle for like Tracks on Tap. I need to actually shout them and do stuff. There's so many people I need to shout. Let's not get into the list.
Yeah, it'll be a long ass thing.
God bless all of you. And God bless me and getting back to shit. I'm so sorry. It's such a thing, guys. Like, while I'm here, you know, like, I'm
you
not
gotta take
like,
the opportunity, but at the same time.
I'm not no kind of way. Like, I don't think I'm sick or, like, whatever. Like, I'm just people amongst people. Like, and I hate not being able to get back to everyone, but it's just, like, everything in timing and everything in good time and everything for a reason. But
Back to the album though.
yes,
I cannot guess what it's going to be because the Sam Cooke threw me for a loop. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because someone like me, like, don't get me wrong, I adore rap. I've like someone who enjoys rap in all of its aspects, even the parts I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoy rap, but I enjoy a lot of music.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not gonna lie, my favorite artist, obviously, well, it's a bit basic. I'll be honest, because a lot of people do have this. My favorite artist is Lauryn Hill. You ain't never gonna beat Lauryn Hill, bro.
Come on,
you can't beat the goat.
Yeah, no.
The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, I got that shit on vinyl. I ain't afraid.
It's common for a reason. My dad has that on vinyl too.
It's fucking great. It's fucking great. I have the vinyl of that. I have Alicia Keys' first album vinyl, and I listen to us back to back. And I tell you what, I've never been in a more calm place in my life. But because of that, I'm thrown for a loop. I feel like it could be anything.
It's kind of predictable-ish, but it's basically Meat Mill, Dream Chasers 2.
Oh, that's
which
a
is like
solid
when
cut.
he was still in the
That's
dirt.
a solid cut.
He was still coming up. He weren't quite Dreams and Nightmares yet. But he knew he was going to be Dreams and Nightmares.
Yes.
And I feel like
Dreams and Nightmares has like energy of like, listen, witness me. But like, the project that you're talking about has so much hunger in it.
Oh, have you listened to it?
Yeah, I fucking love that album. I have that saved on my Spotify.
Okay, we can talk about it. Yeah.
We can't because
We can't. Feel free to just chop it out.
That album is so fucking good. One of my favorite Meat Mill things, pretty much, that he's released. Has at least, I think, 3 of his best tracks on there.
Yeah.
Like 3 out of those picks are like in my top 10 of Meat Mill songs.
It's playing in my head right now.
Bro,
I'm trying to pause it. Come, like I need to listen to everything.
Heavy
you're
good choice,
saying.
but also it makes sense. It makes sense.
That was like
something
that dropped
puts
in
a
like
fire under you.
2012-ish. So them times I was like still like year 10.
Yeah,
kind of started rapping like a year 2 ago. And I'm like right in the midst of rapping. Like I'm like.
But even age-wise, you're on that precipice of like, okay, you're about to leave school. Like, it's about to be
about
different.
To enter real world almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking solid pick. I like that.
Thank you.
What's your...
Rick is getting grilled for drinks.
Listen, that more life choice. Don't go. Listen, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna make this a tradition. Every episode, righteous demeanor, more life, terrible. Terrible choice. No. Okay. Solid album pick.
Thank you.
You got a book and movie left.
The book is gonna be. It's a book by Paulo Coelho called The Alchemist. I don't know if you've read it, but it's like a story within stories within a story.
It's technically a novel, but it's really good read.
I'm gonna try explaining in like 30 seconds. Yeah, one story in the story. No, not the whole book.
I was about to say that's a nuts thing to do.
He goes to the kind of wise guy in the village, runs his whole village, the wise one, and he goes to him with a spoon filled with oil to the brim. And the guy tells him, go around my whole village and bring me back this spoon filled with oil. See how much you can keep on. So he goes around the village, he's focusing heavy on the oil, he's not dropping nothing, like eyes on the spoon, go around, brings it back to the guy. He has like all the oil on it, and the old wise guy's like to him, didn't you see the libraries? Did you see the wildlife? Did you see the people?
You're too busy focusing on the thing.
And he was so busy focusing on the oil on the spoon that he didn't get to experience the life. And I get worried that I'm like, am I too focused on TOT or work that I'm not gonna, it's like I want to change my family's life, but what if I'm in the midst of this and God forbid, but a bad thing happens and I'm like, I was so focused on this that I missed the minutes I could have spent or the hours I could have spent. And it's a book full of those things.
Yes.
And I feel like any situation you're in, you've made it, you haven't made it, you're grinding, you don't need to grind no more. You can read that. And same with Sam Cooke, that song, you can listen to that in any state. And that's why it's my favourite song. Because like there's songs that are mood related. That song is like
I get you. It's
any day,
anything,
anytime,
any day,
any place.
The Alchemist is a great read. I read this when I was in like first year uni, and it changed my entire attitude to uni. I stopped. Like I was very much just like, man, I gotta breathe. I need to breathe.
Yeah. That's sick. That
which is the point of it, obviously, is that like, you know, you take a step back, recognize what's around you before you become like too obsessed with something.
Yep.
Great choice. Small part of The Alchemist, not the whole thing, by the way, but like great choice.
I feel like there's mad pressure on the movie now because you're giving me a good response on the album. And
the album's great. The book was good. The movie better be sick. And there's another reason for it because so far this episode is an hour and 32. So this is the movie. So good luck compressing this file.
I'm sorry.
I actually don't know if this is still recording. I'll be honest with you. It could have broke. It's still good.
Is it going right?
Shout out,
Shout out, iPhone.
Spare iPhone, by the way, completely free.
Kind of shout out iPhone. Bro, my thing's moving slow.
Let me change that. Yeah, not shout out iPhone. Shout out the camera. Okay?
Yeah. That individual is holding it down.
Movie. Desert Island movie. Only movie you can have. What you getting?
I got to start with my favourite and my best, and I feel like the answer is going to be neither because it's going to be something we spoke about, which if you're watching, you'll know. But
interesting.
So my favourite... No, let me start. My best movie is Shawshank Redemption because it's just... The first time you watch that, I'm not going to say absolutely nothing because it is way too good.
If you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption...
Do you know what I haven't seen, which is the same way some of you might not have seen Shawshank? I haven't seen Green Mile, and I really need to watch that. My dad is like getting on to me. He's like, you need to watch that. So I need to watch that. So I'm not going to judge those who haven't watched Shawshank. But
I am going to judge.
If you watch both, judge by all means.
I've seen a lot of shit. Get on Shawshank.
So Shawshank is my favourite film ever because I feel like the first time you watch that, it's just like...
Yeah, insane.
And I cry at the letter, like last year. I'm like, yeah.
That first 20 minutes feels like a movie. The rest of that movie feels like a life lesson. It's nuts.
Oh, God bless Shawshank Redemption. My favourite movie is Friday by Ice Cube with Ice Cube, Chris Tucker.
That is the most contrast I've seen in my life.
And that's
he said Shawshank. And then you got knocked the fuck out.
You got knocked the fuck out.
Two very different things.
Punk. Yeah.
All of it.
Bro, all of it. Like, all of it. Oh, I'm gonna go home.
That first Friday is a solid classic, by the way. I don't necessarily like the rest of them, but like they're okay.
I love them all, but the first Friday feels like when I was young and I grew up and we used to go, we'd chill outside my block, we'd chill outside my friend's block. My friend lived on like the ground floor of one block, so we'd all chill outside his front door, like porch vibes. It wasn't a porch, it was a block, but we used to chill outside, and that when I'm just chilling, watch it. I know you don't smoke weed. I know this, but I'm gonna get you high today. Like when it starts to, and so it's like, bro, the start song, like I know, I feel actually, like it's a conversation. The year it's made in.
There's a lot of movies where like the year makes and dates it. This movie just fucking good. Go watch that shit.
Timeless. It's just vibes, and I feel like I'm chilling on the porch with them, man.
Absolutely.
And that's beautiful. Like I guess I would love to make like a UK version or like a UK version of Friday. Our version. Like what would it be like to do exactly that? Nowadays, I'll
be real with you because I think about this sometimes, like movies that I love that I would love to like do a take on. But my problem is like, I think I could never set it now. I can never.
They're timeless for a reason, for sure.
Yeah, but like a lot of my favorite movies exist before like the creation of like our fucking like mobile phones and shit where everything's here.
Yeah.
Like they still had like fucking flip phones and shit. That's fine. But like as soon as you get like a computer in the screen, like a lot of shit in your favorite movies kind of boils down to a different game, and it's damn. But my Friday's so good.
So.
Honestly, I love Shawshank objectively is the better film. But you should be picking Friday.
Of course.
But you should be picking Friday.
Yeah. Basically, if you smoke weed, pick Friday. If you don't, watch Shawshank.
If you don't smoke weed, still watch Friday. It's still watch Friday.
Yeah, if you're that friend who chills with a couple tons who smoke weed, but you don't smoke, Friday should feel, you just feel like that. But Goodwill Hunting, man, it's like, it's somewhere like, creating a gap, like, because that is like...
Okay, you're right. You are right. Here's why it should be Good Will Hunting for you. Because while Friday is a feel-good film, and while Shawshank Redemption is an amazing film, Good Will Hunting is not only a movie about a guy who has to recognize not only his potential, but also what he can do with that potential. Through recognizing not only self-awareness, but awareness of others. It's also written by the two guys that are in it who thought they would never make it, and then fucking got Oscars off that shit. Starring the fucking genie from Aladdin. It is fucking amazing. Yeah. In fact, the funny thing is, the worst thing about that film, not the worst thing, but the least good thing about the film is the iconic line, like, how you like them apples. Because it's an okay line, but everything around that fucking movie is so much better. The whole, like, when he walks up to the girl and he's just like, he's talking about, like, economics or some shit, and he's like, you got that from, like, Harvard, right? Like, page 182. I got that at the library.
Then this one,
you spend 20 grand on an education, I got 186 in library fees. I fucking love that. Shit.
You know why? Because when I was doing the uni thing and that, I'm like, bro, I'm like not like school educated. Like I didn't do homework and shit. I didn't go to the teacher's first stuff. I just done it, and it was like that math side of me being like, I don't need to go uni. Like, I'm smart. Like, I can.
This is crazy.
I'll find a way. Like, why do I need a paper to find a way? Like, I can find a way.
I love Goodwill Hunting, and it's not that we're having this conversation because you felt that way. I was out here empathizing with Robin Williams. I was out here being the like therapist and shit. I was like, I'm not a producer.
That's
but, like,
maybe what this is.
I know, I'm not a producer, but when I make beats, like I've got like 6 beats with all just Goodwill Hunting quotes, and they're all Robin Williams like telling this man facts. Because that whole speech of like, you can tell me like exactly when and where 1976 the painting came from, but you can't tell me what love feels like. Like you can, and I was like,
have you seen Goodwill Hunting? Bro,
the righteous demeanor ain't worth shit. Okay,
I'm not Shawshank.
Shawshank.
Morgan Freeman.
This man ain't seen Shawshank all fucking Goodwill Hunting. You are
It's a whole different generation.
You are. So, wait. Did they remake it? No.
No, they didn't remake it. They
Shawshank
can't
is
remake
Shawshank.
it. Listen, nah, stop talking. You're not on the mic. Stop talking.
I love you, Rex, but please watch those
The
films.
next time I have you on, I'm gonna have both of you on at the same time, and you better have
I
watched
was
these
thinking
fucking
that today,
films.
you know. Next
I was
time,
gonna do it.
maybe we should do it together.
Timing didn't
Next
work
time
out.
together would be sick. Maybe when the album drops, we do
It's
like
like, yes, you know what?
that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
sick. Maybe
We
we
got
could
4
bring
mics.
on
Invite one more person. I could give you shit.
Shakes and a sides to pop in it. Yeah. All right, let's do that. All right, separate. Let's continue.
That being said, though, if those people do come back, anyone who comes here for a second appearance, I'm gonna do a freestyle on the beat.
Let's
Because I can play music on this shit. I didn't know that.
Do you have beats ready?
I will get them ready for next time. I had some
Okay.
text, but we'll sort that out.
We can get it popping. I'm ready right now. Let's get
Right
it.
now, you wanna go right now? You know what? We're gonna normally these episodes are gonna end with a song that I ask people to choose from their own catalog.
Yeah.
But since
Let's do a freestyle, and we can use that as promo to even push the podcast.
Exactly.
I'm dying for a pistol, and when we finish convo before the freestyle, I'll put for a pistol real quick, and I'll come back.
there is going to be a shortcut in the video, but when we come back, the outro of this is going to be, and this is the first time the outro is going to have video, because when I play everyone else's song, it's just going to be an end card. So here's when you get to enjoy that video. We're going to come back with a freestyle from a man who barely spits, but right now is the most talkative I've ever seen.
I'm 3 shots deep, man. No. I'm like 10 shots deep if you count what rum pour. If you saw rum, pour the rum.
He's 1 Ricky shot deep, which is nothing.
Yeah.
It's everything. Thank you so much for being here today. Before we get into the freestyle,
Thank you for having me here.
Genuinely love this. I feel so sorry for Righteous, who's in the studio with us, because his conversation was like 40 minutes and it's an hour and a half. So like, kind of proves he's better. Anyway,
Rex just looking at me like, bro, I didn't even know you spoke this. You don't even talk to me this much. Nah, I can't lie. Me and Rex have like weekly hours worth of phone call conversations.
This is honestly just the side for like the public don't know you like that. It's just like
yeah.
But like this is the opportunity. So we're gonna cut in a minute and we'll be back with a freestyle. But this is fucking sick, and just follow the man. Just do it.
Follow the man. Get yourself on here, bro.
Don't follow me. I ain't got nothing on my
Find your way
Insta
into
page.
the seat. You see Rec in the seat. You see me
That's
in the
true.
seat.
That's true.
You're gonna see NJ in the seat.
Eventually, you see a lot of people in the seat, and if you want to be in the seat, fucking go for it. I'll roast you. Anyway, that's the end, man. All right, we'll be right back.
I'm feeling pressure still. Sight strapped on this and wrapped it first. I wasn't even gonna touch it, but everybody did, so I said, fuck it, let me have a turn. Look, back then, I was clock watching, waiting for some brighter days, cause nobody was giving me the time of day. That's why I say, fuck everybody, nah, my mistake. Cause I agree, you shouldn't speak if you ain't got nothing nice to say. Alright, okay, I'ma keep it to myself and have a different conversation when I'm speaking to the world. I'll be on the phone to S and all we speak about is wealth. We seen his brother go to jail, I seen my brother go through hell, so we're just trying to make it out of here. Started from the bottom, how the fuck can I go down from here? The only way is up, and I ain't high until the clouds appear. Bro rolls the smoke, if it gets peaked, then he's a mountaineer, but we ain't got the mountains here. Nah, we're in the city where it's quite peak, where there's youngers killing youngers for some light peas. I saw a little bro turn 18 in the trap and he was gassed. It's just sad he didn't make it to his 19th. It's a series of unfortunate events, bare misfortune in the ends. Being thoughtful is just stress, overthinking got me fucked up. I need to bun a zeg. It's ironic how I couldn't sleep and I was bunning Zeds. I was stressed. Sometimes you have to take a break, make a call and get the food delivered like a takeaway. Man, I'm splashing out on drip on a day-to-day. Then wonder why their stacks end up dry on them rainy days. Trying to mix between splashing and investing. I've been trying to stack, but if the stack ain't growing, it gets restless. I ain't trying to sit with it, I'd rather take a risk with it. I don't mind losing it for the chance of flipping it. Cause in life you gotta take risks and prosper. I've took risks and made bits and took risks and lost. Some got knocked down, I dropped down, but somehow I got up. Can't stop now, that's not us, we're in it for the long run. The energy's unstoppable. Am I gonna make it? Yeah, it's probable. You're doing what they tell you to. I'm doing what I gotta do. So soon I can wake up and do what I wanna do. I'm on the move, I'm on the road, I'm on my way, I'm on the path to greatness. I'm trying to be rich, I ain't trying to be famous. Might secure the bag and then just go on a hiatus till I ain't coming back unless the offer is outrageous. And even then I might not come back. Trying to see my family good. And once I've done that, it's mission achieved. As long as they can go missing with me, I might escape to the islands, build a house and live on the beach. And leave a legacy behind, built an empire that's mine. It's getting better over time. Fine wine, no grapes. I've been steady on my grind. I leave the fruits of my labor when I'm ready and they're ripe. That's a more breath than usual. Still, I'm getting older. The youngest. What are you saying?
I'm saying, watch my movies, I teach you how to make a star. Cause most of these men are not as poppin' as they say they are. I mean, you take away the gimmicks and the rented cars. Let's see how many of your favorite bars really set the bar. A couple man that I respect, I know the rest nervous. And I don't say that just to flex, I had your best verses. Your bars, they don't connect now, they don't get service. 16 over 32, cause I came up on wretch sermons. Wake and bacon, I might start off with some cookies. More time on the grind, but I don't mind, it's how it should be. Or for not a rapper with my word, you gotta book me. Now they treat me like a vet when last year I was just a rookie. Check the stats. All your favorite rappers talking money, drugs and trap, but if you really strip it back and check the facts, what are they saying? I'm trying to put Croydon on the map, I got my bar on my back, I see a shot, then I ain't waiting, always working. Says she done with all the flirting, tell me straight that she gon' bust it for a Birkin. Is that cool or just concerning? Different type of life, but I've been learning, looking at some of these rappers like the man behind the curtain. I got another flight to them, I should start learning Dutch. Flip phone, flow, no, I've been out of touch. I was in a coffee shop, I ain't sipping coffee much. Forgive the way I'm coming off, I'm focusing on coming up, cause this my ghetto gospel. Before we had gets, we had ghetto when we all looked up to king like Aristotle. They gotta know I'm top two. Thought you were the one, but now it's not you. If you can't sell no tickets, who you hot to? They know I snap when I need to. Just need a backing track, I don't need you. Fully on smoke, know that we put the tweed through. You kids shouldn't be smoking on these fumes. I don't mean to be rude, but don't compare me to no rappers that won't be here for a while. I find that disrespectful. I had to allow a couple, man, I couldn't risk my mental. I just hope they know my silence ain't coincidental. Yeah, like, and all I do is shows and uni work, and still screaming TOT to the universe. The best kept secret, at least you can say you knew it first. Ish.
Jesus Christ!
Oh gosh, there's one minute. Alright, well, is there more to beat left? Is that
Honestly, you good?
Sure. Snap.
I can reset the whole beat if you want.
Aye. I'm sorry you lot can't hear the beat. We can go again still. We can. Different bars, obviously.
Different bars? Go for it.
Snap. Trubz the rapper. Trubz. I ain't be rapping like Trubz, bro.
Shit. Alright, cool. I'm nervous, you know. Let's see if these land. Yo, I got exclusives I ain't listen to, beats that I ain't written to. Ain't got a degree, but they're still calling me for interviews. While man were in their books, chasing a piece of paper. I was out here grinding, doing everything they didn't do, so fuck that. I saw the way the system tried to bump man, but I don't need acceptance. So to stay up on that one track, I'll turn around, make my own path to make a comeback. I done that, feeling like I steered the ship with one hand. But I've been writing cause they said they wanted Trubz back. But if I drop TOT, they said they want the plug back. It's fucked up. Old rapper or a young plug, they'll still have the time to make these rhymes, or is my luck up? Like who knows? Still run a few shows, still getting wheel ups, still get man them performing with a few bros. Still got an album in the track and every tune's cold, you know. If Freck don't go, then I will. Freestyle man, I might kill any man that wants to clash. They might do the dash. I ain't moving, man. Let me move it back.
Stressed to book a flight too damn low. Check the price, just scan. I got $1 million on my 5-year plans. And the city thinking I'm the man. I got a killie who relies on Zans. It kinda kills me what this life demands. Never had nobody throw the kid a bone. A lone wolf, now I'm roaming all alone. And I be getting stoned, car. You know what they say when you're in Rome. So I might light me up a cone and treat the city like it's home. Look, I'm home now. Feeling like the man up in my hometown. Bro said the fact you ain't blown's wild. Soon coming, no doubt. Straight in space, Pee-wee was sold out. Was backstage change with P and a Q. I'm just so
south.
south. I gotta run, I'm late for running the game. I'm kinda hoping that the money doesn't come with
with
the fame. And if you do it for the clout, I'm just not in your lane. This your money flip, but this here is the blood in my veins. It's coming from pain. Look, I ain't no grease very often. I do not speak when it's dropping. Give me a beat and a coffin. I had the jack in my flows. I had to ask him what's popping. See on scene like I'm stopping. I guess it's me that's the problem. Take a break and let that sink in. Came into the game and bought the whole kitchen. Sink in, sink or swim. Shazam just sung it when sinking. Cause every single bar sounds like him. And don't get me started on it. Favorite rapper spotter's got a target on it. Just wanted some bars and got an artist from it. Hard to stop it. Pay attention, it's your father's knowledge. You might get the answers if you're asking for it. I swear. Look, so tread lightly. Best in the scene, I just might be the best kept secret. So hide me. Can't find me, then it's likely I'm high key high, but low key with my wifey. I like trees. Know a couple vegans don't like beef, but they'll probably take a bite if I need. Really trying to find peace. Body selling O's to try and land peace, but still gonna ops and slides and socks on the highest street. Like, I just hope they caught every line, every bar, every time I go and grab this pen of mine. I start drawing circles on these spitters, they should get in line.
Alright, yeah, let's finish, okay? If you get us rapping, then